Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren, and today I want to talk a little bit about all the CC that an Outlaw Rogue has and trying to give you guys some pointers and tips on how to use CC effectively in arenas. This video is going to cover some of the basics as well as some of the more advanced things that I can teach you. I am trying to make this video something that a new player might be able to get behind, so I want to cover the basics, and then I want to get into a little bit more advanced stuff of some of the things that I do. But the best way to practice CC and learn how to use it properly is to simply queue arenas and practice. You have to play it, you have to try it. No matter how many times somebody in a YouTube video will talk to you about it, the only way to learn how to do it properly is to practice. So after this video, if you want to queue up some arenas and try to apply some of the things that I talked to in this video, feel free because it'll be very helpful. So the CC I'm going to cover is more for arenas, and once you learn how to use CC properly in arenas, it's pretty easy to apply it in things like battlegrounds and maybe even rated battlegrounds, maybe world PvP, because you'll basically learn the basics. As an Outlaw Rogue, you have probably one of the biggest toolkits of CC out of all rogue specs, and with the variety of CC that you can work with allows you some of the different possibilities of how you play Outlaw. Outlaw can take multiple different roles, whether it's CC concentrated or more traditional rogue setup where you focus a single target and set up kills for a team. So being able to learn how to use your CC in many variety of ways will benefit you along the way. But before we go into crowd control, we need to talk a little bit about diminishing returns, or the DR. And DR functions to stop somebody from being able to spam same CC into a target over and over again. It would be a little bit lame if, let's say, a rogue could just keep stunning you back to back to back with cheap shots, so that's why we have diminishing returns, so that you don't sit crowd control forever. Diminishing return timer activates when you get hit by a CC, be it a stun, a polymorph for fear, or any crowd control of the same crowd control tree. So for example, let's take a stun that is a 5 seconds duration. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a healer and you have a monk. The monk stuns the healer with a 5-second CC. Let's say the monk CC has no cooldown, so he goes to stun the healer again. The next stun is going to be 50% effective because of diminishing returns. And let's say the monk goes to stun the healer again, then that 5-second CC is a fourth effective. So the first stun is going to last 5 seconds, the next stun is going to last 3 seconds, and then third stun is going to last 1.5 seconds. This diminishing return timer lasts for an average of 18 seconds. It is somewhere between 15 seconds and 20 seconds as the game checks itself for the diminishing returns, and the average to look out for is 18 seconds when it comes to timing CC. So if you stun an enemy within those 18 seconds, then the next stun is going to be less effective. But if you wait out the DR after stunning them, waiting 18 seconds or so, and then stunning afterwards, then the diminishing returns fall off and the stun is going to be full duration. But if you decide not to wait and you stun again, then the stun, as we said, is going to be half effective. Then the next stun is going to be a fourth effective. Each of these stuns is going to reset the DR timer. So let's say the enemy had diminishing returns for about 2 more seconds and you stun him again, then the timer resets completely back to 18 seconds. After the player has taken a 1/4 effectiveness of the stun, then that player becomes immune to all stuns for as long as the diminishing returns are active. While they are immune to a specific CC, the diminishing returns to that CC do not reset since the target is immune, so eventually the diminishing returns will reset. Now, this is a lot, but this is something you will have to keep track of in arenas, so to help you keep up with crowd control and diminishing returns, I suggest getting an add-on. Gladius and S Arena are really good add-ons for this. Gladius is a little bit more detailed, a little bit bulky looking, has a lot more information, while S Arena is more calm, quaint, and looks a lot like the UI for enemy bars in Arena that you would normally see. But both of those add-ons show the enemy's trinket, the enemy diminishing returns on specific CC, the crowd control that the enemies are sitting, and you can move the bars around anywhere on your screen for personal preference. What these add-ons allow you to do is to monitor closely on the crowd control and diminishing returns in Arena, which allows you to make better judgment calls for which CC to use based on diminishing returns and trinkets. Also be sure to check out the Wikipedia link to learn all of the CC in the game, their durations for PvP, and if any of the crowd control effects are part of a crowd control tree. Like for example, stuns will be in one tree, all the incapacitating effects will be in the other, disorienting effects will be in the other, but you will be surprised to know that spells like Sap and Polymorph are in the same tree since both of them are incapacitates. And then you take spells like a Fear and a Blind, both of those also overlap because both of those are disorienting effects. So be sure to check out the wiki and learn your CC and diminishing returns. Now let's take it back a little bit, back to the Outlaw Rogues. When it comes to Outlaw Rogues, we have one of the best CC in the game, a stun. Between the Eyes is a ranged stun with a duration of 1 second per combo point invested. Usually you want to use this ability with maximum combo points. In Arena, you should use Between the Eyes on the kill target in most cases, to stun them and lock the target down, dealing decent damage to them as well as using stuns to set up kills. When the target is stunned, they usually cannot use defensives and it'll be easier to take them down. But you can also use Between the Eyes as an effective way to CC healers or other DPS, so you wouldn't use it on the kill target. If your team lacks CC, then feel free to use Between the Eyes to control one target while striking damage into another. Be sure to communicate with your team and discuss where you need to use your CC. The next spell on the list is a Gouge. Gouge is a great interrupt with the same diminishing returns as a Sap. This incapacitate is usually used to interrupt cast, peel melee, and stop channeled spells like Monk Fist of Fury, Survival Hunter Artifact Weapon, or even Demon Hunter Eye-Beam. The spell has many uses, and Gouge should be used quite often. It can replace your kick. Let's say if your kick is down and you can stop spells like Polymorphs or other CC. It's also great when training healers, as with healers you want to lock them down, stop them from casting all their spells, and be sure to interrupt their cast with a kick. But let's say your kick is down, you don't have any CC, and the healer is casting that final spell to get themselves up to a comfortable health level, you can use a Gouge to cheekily interrupt the healer, stopping their cast completely, right before the cast finishes, and continue onslaught of damage, not allowing the healer to recover properly. The reason you should use Gouge often, first of all, with a talent choice of Dirty Tricks, you can use the ability for free, and the Gouge ability will generate a combo point, so the more combo points you can generate as an Outlaw Rogue, the more utility you'll have with your combo points. Blind is also one of the best CC that rogues get. It is a 2-minute disorient, and usually used to force trinkets from healers. It is usually used on the CC target, so the target you'll be using control abilities on, and is usually used to either start a crowd control chain or weave blind into a crowd control chain to put pressure on the enemy team. Be sure to use the spell as often as you can when you get the cooldown reduction buff from Outlaw Rogues called True Bearing, as it can give you an immense advantage over the enemy team. If you can turn blind from a 2-minute cooldown to a 1-minute cooldown, then it'll be much more difficult for the enemy team to stand too long against an Outlaw Rogue and overall recover. Now Sap is another spell that Outlaw Rogues have, and it can only be used in stealth. It is an incapacitating effect, much like a Gouge, and as long as the target is out of combat, then you can use it a 6-second Sap. It is not really useful once combat starts, as you can't really sap a target that's in combat, but it can be used to chain CC single-handedly as a rogue. If you are able to get the target out of combat, either by using your stuns or a blind, and letting the target sit away from combat for a little bit, then their combat drops and then they're able to get hit by a CC. So once they are out of combat, you can use Vanish and sap the target for 6 seconds of full controlled sap for even more control as a rogue. Sap lasts longer than a Gouge and should be capitalized on when it is possible, so communicate with your team the CC that you are about to throw out, and be sure not to overlap this CC, as it can sometimes win you games. We also have kicks, which are pretty basic. I'm pretty sure most of you do know what kicks do. You basically use a kick to interrupt cast from healers or DPS, depending on the situation. As an Outlaw Rogue, there's no real way to tell you which abilities you should be interrupting. In most cases, you should be interrupting crowd control abilities or healer cast if you're about to score a kill on a healer, but there's no real law or rule in order to use kicks the most effective way. All in all, the Outlaw Rogue toolkit for CC is pretty large, and with cooldown reduction from Roll the Bones, it becomes even stronger, so be sure to watch out for True Bearing, and capitalize on true bearing, because you can reduce the cooldown of your stuns for between the eyes, which is a 20-second cooldown down to like a 2-second cooldown, and you can reduce your blind from 2 minutes down to 1 minute or even earlier. So be sure to capitalize on that buff when you can, and that will require mostly combo point management. Otherwise, I think I have everything in this video to help you guys started when it comes to using CC. Again, this is all theory, and theory can only take you so far. So what you need to do is to go into arenas, be it skirmishes, 2s, 3s, or actual rated arenas, and practice your CC. Just practice at it and make mistakes, because every time you make mistakes, that means you learn, and every time you learn how to do it better next time. So be sure to just go out there, practice your heart out, and that's probably the best way to get good at playing Outlaw Rogue and get good at your CC. I very much hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like, because it very much helps my channel get out there. And if you want to see more videos like these, be sure to write them in comments what you would want me to cover. And if you want to see more of these videos, let me know. Comments, use them. So thank you guys so much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.